In post-war Scotland, 5 new towns were built to provide better housing and lifestyles. Today, I'm in the first, the largest, and arguably the most successful. This is East Kilbride.
Aye, Scotland!
Success is, of course, hard to measure, but here's something to think about. People often consider Britain's new towns to be uninspiring cultural deserts. Well, here are some East Kilbridians you may have heard of. Broadcasters Kirsty Young, Lorraine Kelly, Muriel Gray, actor John Hannah, author Denise Mina, football legend Ali McCoist, and then in the music field, Roddy Frame of Aztec Camera, and the Reed brothers of the Jesus and Mary chain. Appearances can be deceptive. There must be something in the water.
So come with me to discover striking architecture, curious sculptures, a rotten river, and the answer to whether or not this 76-year-old town is a success story.
Founded in 1947, East Kilbride Newtown was designed to draw in some of the population from an overcrowded and badly war-damaged Glasgow. The accessible public spaces, footways, bridges and underpasses would have been a revelation to the first Glaswegians who moved here. But it wasn't created as a dormitory town, but as a self-contained community, with all the necessary shops, recreation facilities, industry and accommodation. And importantly, a green belt separating it from Glasgow.
Now, Leo and I have been tracking a herd of elephants for some time around the pathways and roundabouts of East Kilbride, but I think we've found them.
In the mid-1970s, the East Kilbride and Stonehouse Development Fund commissioned the sculptor Stanley Bonner to produce several public artworks, of which only a few elephants remain.
They are quite clearly showing their age, but that's fine. These were sculptures to enjoy and to be played on, and that is exactly what generations of children in East Kilbride have done. Public art at its finest. Now to a building that's considered to be one of the greatest examples of 20th century British ecclesiastical architecture. This is St Bride's.
St Bride's Roman Catholic Church is probably the most acclaimed modern church in Britain. It was designed by modernist architects Metstein and Macmillan from the firm Gillespie, Kidd and Coyer. There was a material shortage in post-war Scotland, so it was built from, wait for it, red brick from Victorian sewerage systems. Sadly, the bell tower was destroyed in the 1980s. It's hard to heat and has had to raise huge amounts for restoration works over the years, but remains a true icon of its age.
Now, I'll admit I wasn't totally convinced by the exterior, but the interior, well, that's a different matter. There's a real grandeur to it. I love it. Now, how many towns can boast post-war swimming baths that are Category A listed?
Dollan Baths, named after the first chair of the Development Corporation, Sir Patrick Dollan, is the architectural highlight of the town. It was designed by Alexander Buchanan Campbell and influenced by the world-renowned Japanese architect Kenzo Tange. The baths were the first Olympic-sized swimming pool to be built in Scotland and remain a first-class, albeit expensive to maintain, leisure facility for the town.
Now, it may need a bit of a clean-up, but I think this is a building to be proud of.
The town was built around the car rather than the train, and nicknamed the Polo Mint City on account of the multitude of roundabouts. As in most of Scotland, you don't have to dig very deep to find the ancient amongst the modern. The parish church of the original village dates from 1774, but is on the site of an older church dedicated to St Bride, itself built on the site of the original pre-Christian well dedicated to the Celtic goddess from whom St Bride derived. Wow, if these trees could speak. The original small village has grown to a population of over 75,000, and it's now one of the largest urban centres in Scotland.
From a distance, this building looks like a power station. But surprise, surprise, it's actually the award-winning National Museum of Rural Life.
It's actually a museum in 2 parts. In the modern building, centuries of farming life in Scotland are explored, and if you love tractors, wow, you are going to be in your element here. Then a short walk or a bus ride takes you to a 1950s working farm, where you can meet the boisterous rare Tamworth pigs as well as the cuddly Highland cattle. While you're there, also look out for the Willow Sculpture Trail. Really playful animals produced by the artist Anna Cross. And after all that farming, you'll need a good cafe.
At this point, you're probably thinking the continuity here is a bit strange. Well, that's because nearly 6 months have passed between my first day of filming in East Kilbride and today. A small matter of heart surgery. I may have changed a bit, but the weather, well, not so much. My dog Leo, well, sadly he couldn't be here today. A business meeting. Or that's what he told me. This is an exhibition of the work of local artist Michelle Keenan, who uses recycled goods and found goods to create incredible sculptures. Really fantastic. I absolutely love them. And also she's really inclusive because you can find amongst her work young people's work, an example of art being truly inspirational. And it's hidden away in the East Kilbride Arts Centre. And at the moment, I have it all to myself. The sculptures reflect the times we live in, playful, but also troubling. There are few people who know more about East Kilbride than Alan Dick, so I asked him whether he thought the new town was a success story.
I came to work here in 1966 in the gas industry, and then eventually I got a house in 1968, and I moved from a single end in Springburn in Glasgow, and it was the first time I had a house with an inside toilet and bathroom. So it was, in that respect, it was a tremendous improvement for me. I think, on the whole, East Kilbride has been a huge success because it brought people out of very poor housing conditions in Glasgow and gave them the opportunity to live in a healthy, clean environment with good housing. So they got jobs and they got good housing. The infrastructure was created by the East Kilbride Development Corporation was superb because the schools were very good. There were libraries, there were open green spaces, playing fields for football and all the other things. In recent years, we have lost some of the major benefits that we had, like industry and commerce, which has definitely been diluted to a large degree. The selling of corporation houses just indiscriminately was certainly a big loss to the town, because now we don't have very many affordable houses for people to buy. The schools are still a good standard, and I think that the infrastructure and transport system is still of a good standard. We have managed to maintain a good level of arts by having the only arts centre in the west of Scotland, which is highly successful, and we're sitting in it here today. We have a very good theatre which is full fly tower, computerised sound and lighting, and it holds 330 seats and is very intimate. We also have exhibitions, arts exhibitions, for example, the one that's on just now. We also have a very successful Summerfest in July. Our library services, which I should mention, are very successful, and we have a very good central library. In my overall assessment, I think the New Town Act of 1947, the progress of East Kilbride, I think on the whole there's been more for it than there has been against it. People maybe got short memories. I think it's been generally a very big success.
East Kilbridians are not short of parks. Calderglen Country Park is crisscrossed with woodland walks, and somewhere here you can also find the ruins of 2 castles, as well as one of the best named watercourses in the country.
Rotten Calder Water. Definitely one of the most bizarre river names in Scotland.
James Hamilton Heritage Park is also very popular, especially with the local ducks.
If anyone tells you that East Kilbride is a concrete jungle, then don't believe them. Now, last year I met a guy from East Kilbride who said, "You must do a film about the town." And I said, "Well, only if you agree to be in it." So here we are.
There's lots of different areas in East Kilbride, so to name but a few, we're in St Leonard's, and then you've got Calderwood, which is across from St Leonard's. Then we've got Westwood, the Murray, we've got Green Hills, White Hills, and that's all part of the bigger picture of East Kilbride, with very different. East Kilbride in itself always comes together. It can be separate, but they also can club together when they need to. So I think just like any community, I think. When I was growing up, it was very safe. You could, walk from where you were to the town centre, which felt like you were independent as a kid. The Dollan baths, which is still there. So there was lots of places you could go yourself as a kid and feel independent. Maybe not so much if you were in like a city, although it had a kind of city feeling about it, because to get from one side to the other could take you 30-40 minutes to walk, but it was safe and everybody knew where you were. Of course I'm going to be biased and say it is. It's number one. I mean, it's the largest town in South Lanarkshire, and it's the 6th largest in Scotland itself. Yeah, I would say East Kilbride's the best, but again, it's a very biased view because I live here and I have done since 1971. So
that'll do that. Now, you could drive through East Kilbride and think it was all roundabouts and concrete. It takes a while to reveal its charms. You have to dig a little deeper. But as you've heard, on balance, it is a success story. The founders of 1947 would be pleased with the achievements. If you've enjoyed this film, then please subscribe to the channel. This is a brand new channel looking at travel and culture in Scotland. If you want more weird and wonderful travel outside of Scotland, then go to my existing channel, Travel Obscura. On either channel, I hope to see you again soon.